In this video, I'll show you how to set up and
Okay. Right. Okay. Live dashboard. Fine. How do I access to my video? EKE Authentication II. Yeah. All right. Copy, paste. Hello. Good morning. Good morning, Asha. Yes. Hold on. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Abhishek. Good morning. Good morning, Athiya. Good morning, Divya. Supriya, welcome. Good morning. Nitin, good morning. Sunil, good morning. Shivani, good morning. Chandana, good morning. Adil, welcome. Good morning. Anushka, welcome. Good morning. Anjali, good morning. Rashmi, good morning. Sneha, welcome. Rajesh, very good morning. Pramod, good morning. Kirtana, good morning. Jashish, good morning. Navya, welcome. Good morning. Harshvardhan, good morning. Hey, Harshvardhan, welcome. Ratna Kumari, welcome. Good morning. Guys, please let me know if you are seeing any buffering or any, lagging in the video. Yeah. So, Vamshita, good morning. Harika, welcome. Good morning. Neeraj, good morning. Harshita, good morning. Aishwarya, welcome. Nishant, welcome. Yo, good morning. Menka, good morning. Suhena, welcome. Good morning. Nitish, good morning. Chandana, good morning. Ritesh, good morning. Priyanka, welcome. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. How you are all doing, first of all? Perfect. No buffering. Good. It's good to know. All right, guys. So I hope you all had your breakfast. It says stream starting soon. Is it? No. Anyway, what's a good morning, Aishwarya? Good. All good. Fine. All right, guys. So last class, you remember we talked about authentication 1, and if you recall, what we have done was authentication, one-way authentication. We had password based and certificate based. For mutual authentication, what is that? Slow net. Is there any buffering? Sanju, welcome. Is there any buffering? Please let me know. No? Okay, fine. Then we'll proceed. All good. Right, guys. So, yeah, mutual authentication, there were three things. What is that? Shared secret based authentication, asymmetric key based authentication, and key agreement. Then we saw the last topic was dictionary attacks, right? Dictionary attacks. Good morning, Hashita. All good. Yes. Aditya, hello. Good morning. Right. So I hope all of you are doing well, first of all, and all of you, maybe I'm not sure, you some of you would have not had breakfast just like I do. I'm really hungry, guys, so we'll finish these things and we'll crash on the food after this. Shamal, welcome. Right. So yeah, last topic was dictionary attacks. So we saw two things, that was offline dictionary attack and online dictionary attacks, right? Remember? Okay. So in online dictionary attacks, what happens? Intruder attempts to log in to the victim's account by using the victim's login name and the guest password. Password is guest, right? Hello, Nilesh, welcome. Okay, so and what is the limit in online dictionary attack? The number of failed login attempts. Let's say 3 is the limit. And but what happens in offline dictionary attacks? It's much more secure in the if I look at the hacker's perspective, because it will leave less fingerprints, less proof for the attack. So one possibility of the offline attack is to get hold of the password file. Let's say some database where password of 100 users are stored. Yeah, either get that, or another possibility for attacker is to eavesdrop on the communication link during the client authentication. When client is authenticating itself, that time he is listening to the communication. Okay, those are two things were there. So then we talk about how to defeat dictionary attack, right? So we discuss. Welcome, Fatima. Good morning. Yelappa, good morning. Yeah. So one approach to increase the one approach to defeat dictionary attacks was increase the cost of performing such attack, making that attack as time consuming and complex for the attacker itself, so he will get frustrated and he'll not do the attack. That's one thing. Second thing was this thing, EKE protocol. Okay, this I wanted to cover. I forgot last time, because this question is asked some lot of times. Explain EKE protocol. Basically, what is that? EKE protocol is encrypted key exchange protocol. Okay, and when I say something like key exchange protocol, immediately what can come into your mind? It's Diffie-Hellman key exchange protocol, right? So here is just the extension of Diffie-Hellman key exchange in the encrypted manner. So if I have to talk about it, you can tell it's a Hold on. Yeah. Hello, Pujita. Welcome. Good morning. So it's a password-based protocol, and it combines Diffie-Hellman key exchange with mutual authentication based on a shared secret. Okay, so we know Diffie-Hellman key exchange is vulnerable to what attack? Man-in-the-middle attack, right? And with what causes the attack? It happens due to the unauthenticated exchange of partial secrets. We know what is a partial secrets from A and B? G to the power A mod P, whereas for B it is G to the power B mod P. These are the partial secrets sent by A and B, and then they compute their own shared common secret, right? That is what happens. But here, uh, yeah, you can see that, right? This is nothing but encrypted key exchange protocol. So there are four exchange of messages. Shubham, good morning. Right. So there are four exchange of messages, and each site transmits its partial secret after encrypting it. Okay. So what is important? Each site sends its a partial secret after encrypting it. Okay. So encryption key is what? If you see the figure, the first message E of PW. So what happens? EKE, encrypted key exchange protocol, they transmit partial secret, but only after it is being encrypted. And how it is encrypted? Encrypted using encryption key, that is called as your PW here. PW is your encryption key. And what is PW actually? It is nothing but hash of the password. You know what is hash? Adding some extra bits to the password so that it cannot be guessed easily. So that is the encryption key. So other things are very simple. G to the power A mod P, here G to the power B mod P, and what is that? R is nothing but a challenge. Remember, nonce in the form of R. Okay, then we have what is, or K? K is nothing but common secret. K is the common secret. Okay, PW is the encryption key. K is the common secret. Common secret. And what is the common secret? G to the power AB mod P. This is how it works. You have to just explain this. It should be very simple. Good morning, Roshni. Okay, right. So that's about a dictionary attack. Now we'll talk about next module, authentication 2. So since this is important, it has been asked number of times, so I wanted to discuss this small topic. All right, guys, give me a second. Okay, so next is your authentication 2, basically third chapter of the module 2, module 3, right? So here we are going to learn more about authentication. Okay, guys, we are seeing in the chat this guy, the perfect example of it's not actually the real Jashi, right? So real example of someone violating that authentication thing. So what I simply done, I have blocked him from the chat, so it's easier for you also, right? So next thing was your uh, authentication 2, right? Okay, right. So first thing what we are going to discuss is centralized authentication. There are some trusted third party, we call it as key distribution center. What is happening in the chat? Both Jeshis are not real. Okay, that's even worse, right? So please don't do that, guys. Please don't do that. Don't uh, don't have some other name and join this. Don't do that. Anyway, so key distribution center is a trusted third party that shares. I mean, basically, the main function of KDC is to securely communicate a fresh common session key to the two parties that wishes to communicate with each other, right? So I don't know if the diagrams are perfectly visible in this. So I will open this one more slide. There I think you can view the diagrams very carefully. So here it is. Okay, so here it is. So basically, what are the advantages of first of all, we have to discuss about what are the advantages of secret key cryptography over public key cryptography, and there are some disadvantages as well. So first of all, digital certificates and public key infrastructure, PKI is public key infrastructure that we have studied in key agreement first chapter, right? First chapter of module 3. Now these digital certificates and PKI, they are needed for the support of public key cryptography, right? And there is substantial cost in setting up and maintaining all this PKI, right? It's a complete infrastructure. Remember, PKI contains this registration authority, certification authority, CA and all. Okay. Also, this public key and private key operations are very slow compared to secret key operation. We know this secret key is faster. So if the in secret key cryptography, if the entity communicates with a large number of other entities over time, it must share a secret with those each of those parties, right? So what is the complex here? The disadvantage here is managing and securely storing a large number of keys. It's actually difficult. So I mean, it's difficult to store the keys, right? So who will store the keys? Then your key KDC comes into picture. What is that? Key distribution center. Okay. So that risk of securely storing the keys is alleviated, or made less by employing a trusted third party. KDC is your trusted third party. In this case, it functions as a key distribution center. So what happens in KDC? Each user each user is registered with the KDC, and then it chooses a password. Okay. Right, guys. So don't worry about the chat, guys. Just watch the video in the full screen. It's all good, right? So I told each user registers with the KDC. Okay. Yeah. And the long-term secret, which is a function of the password, is exclusively shared by that user and the KDC. You see the diagram here, how message confidentiality is achieved by using KDC. So what I told, KDC, the main function of key distribution center is to securely communicate a fresh common session key to the two parties who wishes to communicate with each other. So what we have here, we have A and B, but A and B are not directly communicating with each other. A wishes to communicate with B, but how they're communicating? They're doing by or through KDC. So see the diagram here. What is happening in the message one? A has the identity. A is the A's identity. So A informs the KDC that it intends to communicate with party B. So what in turn KDC does, it generates a random secret called as K of AB. Okay, it generates a random secret K AB. Okay, and then it dispatches it to both A and B through two encrypted message. You see the second and third message, it's E of A and E of B. Of inside what we have, K of AB. So K of AB is your random secret, and it is also that random secret itself is encrypted. Okay, so what happens, message 2 is encrypted using long-term secret KA, and that is shared by KDC, whereas message 3 is encrypted by KB. It's very simple. In message 2 it's encrypted by KA, in message 3 it's encrypted by KB. Okay, so both, what happens after that, when it is encrypted, it's the responsibility of both A and B parties to decrypt their respective message, and then what they will obtain, the short-term session key, and when they have short-term session key, they can start communicating with each other. Okay, that's the idea of KDC. So what is the purpose of KDC? It is to securely communicate a fresh common session key to two parties that wishes to communicate with each other. Okay, I understood what is KDC. Right. Now, next thing is KDC doesn't work just like that. KDC has different protocols. KDC is overall a concept, but it uses some protocols that we are going to discuss. So first thing is KDC. I can divide it as two types. This is the first one: Needham-Schroeder protocol, and next one is Kerberos. Okay, this we will study in this chapter. That's the only main things. But what exactly is there? What complex thing is here in this module is this chapter is Needham-Schroeder protocol has different versions. Not one, not two, not three, but four versions. We call them as preliminary version 1, preliminary version 2, preliminary version 3, and the last one is your final version. So PV, and last one is final version. So in the exam, how they can ask, explain Needham-Schroeder protocol preliminary version 3 and how it is corrected by comparing it to final version, like that. Or they can tell, explain preliminary version 1 and talk about final version. So you have to read all four. Kerberos is the next thing. We will see it later. Okay. So see the diagram itself, nothing else. See the diagram itself. Okay. Okay. So in this protocol, what happens? Every diagram, I mean every version will have two things, like preliminary version 1 and some attack associated to it, like this. Man in the middle attack in preliminary version. So you have to talk about the flawed protocol and the attack which is vulnerable to it. See the diagram here. It is used to Needham-Schroeder protocol. It's used to provide mutual authentication by including a challenge response phase. It's a very basic thing, challenge response phase. Okay, so you see the diagram, what is happening in this, both sides, it proceeds to challenge the other to prove knowledge of the session key. They're not challenging each other to reveal or identify or verify their identity. They're challenging each other to prove knowledge of the session key. Okay, so the challenge is nothing but your nonce. Nonce is nothing but a random number used only once. Okay, so the response involves how challenge is done. Challenge is from the nonce. What is the response? Response involves decrementing. Okay, decrementing the nonce and encrypting the nonce with the session key. I'll repeat, challenge is in the form of a nonce, but response involves decrypting the nonce and encrypting the nonce with the session key. Okay, see the message here. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 exchange of messages happening here. See the first message. What is happening? A informs that KDC that it intends to communicate with B. That's the first basic. We have A and B there. So message 2, KDC dispatches the session key and something called as a ticket. Okay. So it dispatches the session key and ticket to B. Okay. And what is that? It contains ticket to B. It contains. It is actually a encrypted version, encrypted form with the long-term key shared between B and KDC. When I say KDC dispatches a session key and a ticket to B, it is encrypted with a long-term key shared between B and KDC. Now, when it sends a ticket to A, what it means? Encrypted with long-term key shared between A and KDC. So very simple, like that you can tell. See that second message. Okay, in message 3, what happens? A then forwards the ticket together with her challenge to the B. Okay, A then forwards the ticket together with a challenge to B. Now, so how in the message 4, B responds the B response involves something that is decrementing the nonce. You see the thing R1 minus 1. So it is decrementing the nonce, and it's a new challenge to A. It's a new challenge to A, both encrypted using session key. Okay. So message 5, it's A's response to B. You see the fifth message, A responds to B by decrementing the nonce encrypted using a session key. It's just like B is doing that same thing and A is also doing the same thing, but B is doing first and then A. So that is your preliminary version 1. Now, but the problem is there is some attack. It is vulnerable to some kind of a attack. Okay, what is the attack? So attacker X, we have, let's say, attacker X, man in the middle. Alright guys, so attacker X is an insider or attacker, man in the middle, who shares a long-term key with what? With our KDC. Okay, so attacker X, see the diagram. Attacker X intercepts message 1, substitute B for X, and sends the modified message to the KDC. Yeah, so what it does, it intercepts the message 1, right? You see the 1 and you see the 1 dash, right? Substitute B for X and sends modified message to KDC, right? So now in response, KDC creates a ticket. It creates a ticket. Now you can have an idea. Always KDC, how it is responding? It's responding by sending a or creating a ticket, and that is in an encrypted fashion. All right, guys. So we'll finish it. Don't worry. We'll just finish this in another 5 minutes. Don't worry about it. Right. Something is happening in the chat. I can see, but it's fine. So attacker X, it intercept message 1, substitute B for X, sends the modified message to KDC. So in response, KDC creates a ticket encrypted with X long-term key, okay, and then send it to A. You see that message, right? How it is happening? B is represented in the dashed line, okay. So now look at the X part. Look at the message where we have third, fourth, and fifth message. That X part, X intercepts the message 3. He decrypts the ticket using the long-term secret that is he has shared with the KDC. Okay, so in order to do that, when he does that, he can obtain the session key. Okay, and message 3 also contains one more thing. You see there's something separated by comma, right? So message 3 also contains a challenge R1, right? E of AX, in the bracket you have R1. So X uses the session key to decrypt the part of the message containing A's challenge. Now once he has done that, he successfully responds to A's challenge in the message 4. Okay, thus X successfully impersonates B to A. Okay, so who is getting impersonated? It is the party B who is getting impersonated, and A is unaware of it. So that is the attack. It is vulnerable to this preliminary version A. All right, so solution, some solution to the preliminary version 1 is the preliminary version 2. Okay, but again you are going to see there is some flaw. There will be some flaw in preliminary version 2 also. So how we have seen, it successfully impersonates B to A, right? So the solution is to include B's identity in the encrypted message from KDC to A in the message 2 itself. Okay, see the message 2 here. Okay, in the message 2, the solution is to include B's identity, right? Now after, what happens then? We are successfully authenticating B also. So after A receives and decrypts message 2, okay, I'll show you this, right? This part, preliminary version 2. See the diagram here. Everything is happening in the message 2 here. So after A receives and decrypts a message 2, she or he checks whether B's identity is contained in the message. Okay. The presence of B's identity, if it is present, it confirms to A that KDC knows that A wishes to communicate with B, right? So that's about this thing. But again, this is also vulnerable to some kind of attack. What is that attack? It is vulnerable to two attacks: man in the middle and replay attack. In addition to man in the middle attack, it is already also vulnerable to replay attack also. Okay, how it happens here? Okay, yeah, if you think this is looking very complex, yes, you have to read this. You have to write this diagram to get the marks, right? Yes, you have to read this. So it's better to understand what is happening here. So I'll just tell you in brief what is happening here in this attack scenario. A determine A is the general entity, B is the general identity, X is the attacker. So X is in the second message. You see the in what is happening in the preliminary version 1, the attacker X was in the message 1 itself. Here it is in the second message. Okay, so what happens, right? So what happens, X eavesdrops upon very meticulously. He eavesdrops very meticulously on the records and on the records, and also it what is that, how do you save something? Okay, by recording itself, right? So eavesdrop on something and it records many of A's session with the KDC. Let's say A is communicating with B and through KDC, right? And it has then done it several times, let's say 10 times before. So X always have maybe eavesdropping on that communication, and it has recorded all 10 session. Okay, so and what he does, he then steals B's password or long-term key. Long-term key, when I say long-term key, you don't get confused. Long-term key is nothing but your private key. Okay, I'll repeat this. Short-term key is your session key, long-term key is your private key. Okay, so he, after is successfully recording all the A session with the KDC and with B over the period of time, he or attacker attempts to steal B's password or long-term key. Long-term key is nothing but your private key of the B. So B recognizes that his password has been stolen, and immediately it reports the incident to KDC. Now what happens, then he obtains a new long-term key which he uses subsequently, right? So what scenario shows that it is successfully impersonating B to A? First one, what I just told, was your replay attack, right? Recording and playing it over again to get to the original thing, right? So how X is successfully impersonating B to A in this scenario? Okay, A wishes to communicate with B and send the message 1, right? X intercept the KDC response that is in the message 2. See that what you're seeing here, and instead he plays a previous recording of message 2. It's not the current message 2. It's a previous recording of message 2 which would have done long time back, 2 days back, 3 days back, or 2 hours back. So X is careful to replay a copy of message 2 which is recorded before B's key was compromised. Okay, now X then intercept the message 3 from A. You see the message 3 from A, it is coming from A. It intercept the message 3 from A. So attack X is both at message 2 and message 3, 4, 5. So X intercept message 3 from A, which contains the old ticket and a fresh challenge to B. All right, X now has the B's old key, right? He can decrypt this ticket and recover the session key. Now once he knows the session key, he can respond to A's challenge in the message 4, and X response is exactly what A expected to receive from B. So in this scenario, A is totally convinced that he or she is talking only with B. So that is your man in the middle attack, okay, for preliminary version 2. Okay, so again, how do we overcome this all these attack? Preliminary version 1 has man in the middle attack. Preliminary version 2 is prone to one more attack, that is replay attack. So all these previous problems is solved by ensuring freshness of message 2. Okay, what we have done previously, authenticating B, that is not enough. Now we have to ensure the freshness of message 2 as well, so that it is not a previous recorded message, right? So as what happens, A sends a nonce. What is happening? Okay, someone is trolling, right? So A sends a nonce in message 1 and receive confirmation of it received by KDC. So but what happens even after doing that, X could still attack the protocol by recording previous messages and selectively replaying them when the right opportunity presents itself. And when he does that, he attempts to steal A's password or again long-term key, and and he succeeds on it. Message 2 was recorded by X before A's key was compromised. Okay, is again the example of your replay attack. Okay, now see this replay attack in preliminary version 3. Now using the compromised key, X can decrypt this message and recover the old session key used, and then the old ticket is also given to B. Now to impersonate A, X does several things again. Okay, using replay attack, X does one more time. It can attack in this preliminary version 3. X sends in message 1. See the message 1, it is being sent from A to B, right? A to B. So in that, it has old ticket and a challenge. You can see that K of AB, that is your ticket, and what is that in the bracket? You have R1, that's a challenge, and it is encrypted by E of A dash B, right? It's encrypted by old session key. That way you can tell it's encrypted by old session key, right? So B responds to X challenge and also communicates his own challenge R2, right? It sends from B to A, but before A, who's standing, X is standing before A, he is receiving all the things. Now because X has a session key, he responds to the challenge by encrypting R2 with the old session key. Okay, so B receives the response and it is convinced he's again talking to A, but instead he is talking to X. So what is the scenario here? Here B is convinced that he is talking to A. So who got impersonated? It is A who got impersonated in this particular scenario, right? All right, guys. So good morning, Purnima. Right. So that's about it. We'll talk about Needham-Schroeder protocol final version. Okay. So basically, for this question will be, not much is there. Just have to read what is happening in the final version. Basically, it is overcoming all your man in the middle attack, all your replay attack, and this is the final and corrected version. So if something is asked, explain Needham-Schroeder protocol. So obviously they will not give to tell you about all the preliminary version 1, 2, 3 and final version. Maybe some of the version 1, and they will tell how it is overcome by version 2, or maybe version 1 2 how it is overcome by version 3, or version 3 and tell me the final version. So you can just simply write this diagram and just write about it. So that's all about it. And for today's class we'll talk till here about just give me a second. So we will finish here. We have done today what we have done today. We have seen dictionary attacks and offline. How do you prevent dictionary attacks, offline dictionary attacks, by using encrypted key exchange protocol. And in authentication 2 we have seen KDC. In KDC we have seen first protocol, Needham-Schroeder protocol, which has 4 versions, 3 preliminary version and 1 final version. In the next class, what we will do, we'll talk about another protocol called as Kerberos, which is being used currently. It's very important we talk about it. So guys, good morning, Sanjay. Right, so that's all about it in for this today's session. We'll talk about Kerberos in the next class. So if you have any doubts, you can ask, you can let me know, and after this session I'll send you a Google form. Please fill it. Okay. All right, guys, thank you for joining. That's all from my side. Thank you for joining, and I will see you in the next session. Thank you, guys. That's all from my side. All right, guys, have fun, stay safe. Okay, I'll see you next session. Please fill out the Google form, which I will be sending after this. Okay, thank you, everyone. Bye. Bye bye. Thank you. If anything is there, I will leave it to you. Last 10 seconds if you want to ask something. Otherwise, we are ending the stream. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Bye.